Okay guys, let's talk about the Fox extension. Mostly talk Spurs, but some CBA stuff as well. I didn't do a video on the Luka extension because, to be honest, I didn't think there was much to talk about. Congrats to him and the Lakers. Okay, so for Fox and the Spurs, none of us should be surprised that Fox got a big extension from the Spurs. Okay, they traded for the guy when he had, it was the deadline, so a year and a half left on his deal, right? And we can't forget that what they actually gave up for him, like holding on to the Hawks picks, not having to move any of their essential young guys, it felt like a bit of a steal. And then unfortunately, Wemby blood clots. We didn't really get to see him and Wemby really develop like that as a two-man game. Fox had the finger injury, so okay. I will say, seeing the tweet from Shams saying max and $229 million for 4 years, I did have a moment of yeah, that's a lot for De'Aaron Fox. Now, look, many caveats here. The cap's going up, therefore the contracts go up, and we got to look at the stuff as the percentage of the cap and not just the number itself. And also, even when you take Wemby's future max into account, the rest of the team is still on rookie deals, or it's Vassell's contract, which is okay, or it's on shorter deals like Harrison Barnes, Keldon Johnson. They've got wiggle room here, salary-wise. I'll go more into this in 3 minutes. And even with that said, it's still a lot of money. And for the Spurs, this feels like the first real moment of pressure now for the Wemby era. And pressure is good. We knew this was coming eventually. It's just going to be a bit of a transition here where for a while we're kind of dealing with house money here. We have a generational talent. We're going to let him develop for a bit. And then eventually, while we are winning games now, eventually the pressure is really going to be on us to win. Well, now the pressure's right here. And so when we were having these convos about, the De'Aaron Fox, Stephon Castle, Dylan Harper fit, where Harper certainly wants to run screens. That's what he's most known for. Coming out of college, well, he's going to have to play some with De'Aaron Fox because Dylan Harper's not going to play 15 minutes a game for this team. He was the second pick in the draft, right? And so, okay, you're going to have to operate more off the catch. You're going to have to lean more into being not like a shooter, but a little bit more of a shooter playing with De'Aaron Fox. This also means the convos that you can have about Stephon Castle after year one, which is mostly let's see what the shot making is outside of the paint especially, but as far as the defense and the skill that he's shown outside of the shooting, I think he can play off of a star. But also, if the shooting never really gets there, the convos just become a little more uncomfortable when you've now given De'Aaron Fox all this money and he's 28 years old. We quickly went from development and all that nice stuff around Wemby, with which there will still be some, I know, but now the expectations are just higher, and you get it. This also means that if we have another, half a season of, oh crap, when Sohan and Wemby are on the court together, teams find it a little too easy to mess up our Fox-Wemby two-man game, well, then we got to have more uncomfortable conversations about Jeremy Sohan, a player that I like, but the shooting is what it is, and he's up for an extension right now. Everything just got, 10, 15% more accelerated here. But again, this extension was coming. Why else would they have traded for De'Aaron Fox? But hey, if Wemby cements himself as, ideally all-NBA first team, we can say second team, give him a little bit of grace, it's year 3. And then let's say Fox is all-NBA third team, at least making a real case for all-NBA third team, then okay, that to me feels like how this realistically has to go after this big contract, which again, should not be surprised the extension has happened. So anyway, I do want to go into just a convo about CBAs and second aprons, and just real quick, with Fox and Wemby soon making over $100 million combined. And you got this Vassell deal where he's making about mid-20s per year for a little while. Harper's rookie deal, Castle's rookie deal, Carter Bryant's deal as well. You're looking at about $160 million for those guys in a few years. And this is before we look at potential Sohan extensions, which Keldon's deal is up after next season. And also, I should say, as of right now, the second apron is $207 million. It's going to keep going up year by year. So they're going to have some breathing room. But with the way the new CBA is, every team that's trying to win a title, you're going to have to deal with this thing eventually. Which means you sit in the second apron for as long as you're full-blown contenders, and you deal with the fact that you just kind of can't do anything as far as building your team goes. And I'm sure everybody knows the details of the second apron at this point. It's a Google search away, but basically, it restricts everything you can do. Your draft picks 7 years in the future are frozen for 3 years, so you can't put those in trades. Putting multiple players in a trade just becomes a complete nightmare. It's still technically possible, but it's a nightmare. And you can't sign anybody that actually matters. That makes me wonder, for guys like De'Aaron Fox, do we see a little more actual negotiating there, or is it just, here's the money, and let's call it a day? And at least for this one, the answer was, nope, here's the money. But again, even when Wemby does have his extension in a little bit, they're still going to be not that expensive around these two guys for a bit. But when you think of examples of teams actually negotiating down what you could have viewed as maybe they get a max, maybe they don't. The only one I can really think of is Şengün. Besides that, it's typically just like, yeah, dude's gonna get the max. But with how scary the second apron is, I don't know. We'll just see what happens over the next, 4 years until we get a new CBA? Or 5 years, my bad. You could also view what Brunson did with the Knicks, where he signed the deal a year early, when if he waited a year, he could have got way more money. But that was a very unique situation. That's about it. The last thing I do want to say, Kings fans, I apologize for this one, okay? What a job by AFunkyDiabetic. I get it. There was a lot of good history there between him and Sacramento and all that stuff. But within the span of 6 months, the dude got himself out of Sacramento, which, I mean, we know the state of the Kings. I know Neek Clifford looked good in Summer League. We'll see there. But the state of the Kings is pretty blah. And now he's got a new max contract, and he's hitching onto Wemby's wagon. I mean, yeah, the Spurs made the phone calls, but you couldn't make it more obvious if Fox tried that he wanted to go to San Antonio. Anyway, that's it. Have a good one, guys.